Sorry, it's trying to open JPEGs for some reason in 3D Paint. I'm just gonna fix that real quick. Wow. Interesting. Sure. Open it in Paint. All right, cool. So we have a lovely render in Microsoft Paint because apparently that's the only thing on my computer that will open a JPEG right now. But yeah, so it looks like this is supposed to be like a soda bottle or something like that. In which case, like it gets, I guess it gets like the essence of the shape, but maybe could use a little bit more detail, like at the bottom, or like a label or a cap or something like that. Cool. All right, so yeah, it looks like, okay, water bottle. It would have been nice maybe to go in and like try to do some of like the little indents on the bottom. Admittedly, it's like a really weird, like very annoying thing to model, but I mean, even just going through and like grabbing sort of every other loop like this, you can pull it up, and this is like not a great example of the bottom of a soda bottle, but like I guess it's something. And from there you can, you know, maybe like grab these loops in here and just sort of expand them, or just like start with more loops, something like that. The other thing, so there's actually also a really like kind of easy hacky way if you're ever trying to model in, did I get you for attendance? No. Okay. What's your name?
Darren.
Thank you. Ah, yes, cool. All right. So there's like kind of an easy hacky way if you ever need to model like little ridges like this into a bottle. And I'm pretty much just gonna go through and like maybe grab like some of these edges here. I'll just use soft select because I'm being like kind of lazy. That'll kind of grab some of the ones next to it. But if I just like drag these up like this, and then maybe like do the same on the other side, kind of, I'll drag these up like this. And a lot of times these bottles actually have like really strange shapes if you look at like how they're made. But once I have this, I can actually go in and just like add a few more edge loops in. Turn off soft select. So I'll just like loops, all the loops. And then I can literally just grab these faces in here and extrude those. And if I just push them in along this little blue handle, or like the local translate Z, it'll push them in. And if I smooth it, then it kind of looks like those little, you know, model details in the water bottle. So that's like maybe something that could be like, if this, whose ever assignment this is, if you did a resubmit, like you can maybe go back in and like try to add some more detail like that. And then adding a cap to the bottle might have also been nice, but yeah. Oh, the other thing, so like, I don't know if I've explicitly mentioned this, but like the other thing that's always like a really nice touch to models of like clear stuff like this, like bottles, or like if you had a ketchup bottle or like a wine glass or stuff like that, instead of making the whole bottle like one, ooh, hello. Instead of making the whole bottle one solid volume, there's a really easy way, like if you just, you know, leave like a little part of the bottle open, like the top part open where you like the drinking hole is, select the entire mesh and just extrude it. And again, if you just like push that in ever so slightly, you'll see it makes, if you don't get like really crazy with it, it usually does a pretty good job of just like making the entire thing, like adding a little bit of thickness to that. So that when you render this, like if you were to render this with like refraction in it, it would show up a lot better. And you could actually like sort of see the bottle, the little wall of that bottle existing there. But yeah, so anyone have any questions about this, or like anything? Thoughts? Mm-hmm.
So you just extruded like certain faces after you use the soft select tool?
Yeah. Pretty much. Yeah, that's actually, I think, I don't remember exactly when. I did a similar thing where I like posted a tutorial about making tire treads, like just crappy little tire treads for a chicken wheelchair, where I basically used like the same basic principle. But yeah, so like I'll demo it again on this little dude here. So I'm just gonna like grab these edges sort of in a completely arbitrary fashion, modify my soft select and be like, yay. And then once I have that, you know, maybe I could grab this and like pull this down so it's like a little more round. I'll just go in and like select every other loop. Buttons. select every other loop like this. So I have like all of these, you know, little rings or whatever that are supposed to be indented selected. And I'll just extrude all of those at the same time and just push them straight in with this little blue, or like you can use this local translate Z value here as well. And then depending on, like if I wanted that to be a harder edge, I would just have to go in and like add, you know, more edge loops to harden that. But yeah, does that answer your question? It's the extrude tool. Like when so are you talking about like when I first went in and basically like added extra loops to like make all of these indented? Yeah. Yeah, so I mean that pretty much is just like the extrude tool. So all I'm really doing, it's the same thing as if I were to select all of these individual faces like this, and just pull them out. So you can extrude like as many different things as you want at a time. It's just like if I did individual faces, you can see it'll basically perform a separate extrude option or extrude operation on each one. So for each face, it's going to add in like, you know, basically 4 or 8 whatever like new little loops around it to make that extrude. But if you do it with like a loop of faces here, it's just going to behave slightly differently, but it'll still add like all the loops to basically like pull that geometry in or out, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm.
Are you extruding it with or without smooth mesh?
I mean, I just extruded it when the model was smoothed.
When the model is smooth, will it still have that same effect on the picture?
I mean, this is unsmoothed.
Okay, so could you do it again without it being smooth?
Sorry, one more time?
Could you do it again without it being smooth? I just want
Sure.
to see if it's had the same effect.
Okay, so I'll grab like these guys, these guys, these guys. So I'm just gonna extrude these in. And again, I'm using this little blue handle, or I can also just use like toggle this local translate Z. But yeah, I mean, you can see it's like pretty cubey and awkward looking when it's not smoothed. Did you have any more questions, or like was there something you wanted to see like from here? Or
Can you click smooth mesh?
yeah.
Okay, another question I have is, can you explain how the soft select works?
Explain how soft select works?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're able to select
Mhm.
areas, only it seems to very like shallow part without going off the
Yeah. Yeah, so soft select is pretty chill. It's a great sometimes, horrible other times, kind of depends. So I'll just start out with the plane because it's kind of easy to demo. So usually I'll toggle soft select on, like I'll just select this face. If you ever have like this crazy gradient on your screen, that's an indication that you have soft select on. You can turn it on and off in 2 separate ways. Usually I will just press the B key, B as in bouncing ball, and that will toggle it on and off. You can also go in, like if I'll open my tool settings for like translate, and rotate and scale also have like their own drop downs for this as well, but there's a tab down here called soft selection. You can also turn it on and off here. You can adjust the fall off of the object and make it like really whatever odd thing you need it to be. You can, you know, adjust the fall off radius is basically like the area that it affects. You can also toggle that, just reset that. You can also, if you hold down, what is it? Hang on. It's so muscle memory for me, actually, it kind of, wait. Okay, weird. There's also a hotkey where you can just like toggle the area of the effect for that soft selection, but for some reason it's not working for me right now. But again, if you needed to edit that, just like manually go in and just edit this fall off radius here. And when it's actually moving things, so like based on the fall off radius, like if I move this up, it's just gonna sort of drag my mesh based on this fall off curve here. And you can kind of see the visual representation. So like anything that's yellow is gonna be like very much affected. Anything black is gonna be like not so much affected at all.
Since that's a plane, right?
Yep.
When you extrude it upwards, would it affect the other side as much, or is it just extruding that face?
So I'm not doing any extrudes right now. So
No, before, but when you did before.
oh, okay. So wait. So what was your question?
when you pull on the soft select upwards, it has this interesting curve, and I wanted to know whether or not it affects the other side of that plane.
Oh, so yeah, so like if I drag this up like this and
Okay.
yeah, no, it's totally going to affect the other side of that plane. You can actually see here, so I still only have this one face selected. Because I modified my fall-off radius in a ridiculous fashion, you can see it's shifting things differently and making like an awkward donut. If you ever do need to use soft select, so if you needed this to like be something with thickness in it or whatever, and you were having an issue, maybe you started with like a square that was, I'm just gonna give this like random amount of subdivision. So if you ever like only wanted to edit the top of this square in a certain way, but the fall-off radius like wasn't quite doing what you want, or like maybe it was grabbing stuff on the bottom of your plane, usually my fix for that is like just start with a plane. If I take this entire object, extrude it, and I'll just go into my normal move, turn off soft select for this. Go into my normal move tool. You can see that these faces are still like really crazy and like stretchy, but I'll just scale them straight down basically. And that'll give me like a flat bottomed object with this weird lumpy, what?
Could you repeat that about the flat bottom?
Sure. All right, so yeah, so normally like if I have this object here and I wanted a flat bottom on it, I guess there's like kind of two silly ways I could do this. The first would be to just grab the whole edge loop, just extrude that down. Extrude again, so I have, you know, stuff that I can combine and just merge that to center. That's probably like the ultimate and simple solutions if you need to do that. If you needed like a more regular geometry on the bottom for some reason, just select the entire object, extrude it, and just translate all of those faces straight up or straight down, whichever direction you need. And then just go into your scale tool and scale them until they are smushed flat. And that will give you a flat bottom on that object. You can see the difference, like one, and it doesn't, it's not like one way is right and one way is wrong. It just like gives you different effects on the bottom. But you'll see like this one has like nice even geometry, and this one's just like a giant star on the bottom.
How'd you get the even geometry?
So kind of the same way I make bottles. So I'll just like grab this thing. I select the entire object at once. I will extrude the whole object, and then just translate those faces up or down, and then just take, so still with all these bottom faces selected, I'll just basically flatten them. And it'll give me basically whatever geometry is on the top just flattened.
So you basically extrude down every size to straighten it out.
Pretty much.
Completely unrelated question I have about Maya.
Yep.
Is about alpha maps.
Okay.
How do you use them?
Ask me about that later when we're doing more rendering stuff. It kind of, I guess it depends a little bit on what you're trying to use. To be honest, I actually haven't really fiddled with them that much in Arnold, but they've gotten like progressively more annoying in the newer renders, in my opinion. Did you have a specific question or just like how to use them? Hello? Did you have a specific question or just how to use them?
How to use them? Did you try to use them? Didn't work out well?
Okay.
It takes a lot of time.
There's one thing I can think of that's like usually if you import a texture map into something and it isn't working for some reason, and this is like for a file texture mostly, there's a button for alpha is luminance. If you check that, a lot of times it'll fix the issue, but I can take a look at that later. Just remind me because I'll probably forget. Any other questions about anything I've been doing while I'm here? Cool. Anyone else want to volunteer their project? Cool. Initials? TJS. Awesome. Thank you. TJS. Please do extract all of the files. All right then. Okay. Do you have renders in here?
Yeah.
Okay. Where are they?
They should be.
Okay, wait. I don't see it. I just see a bunch of orthographics. Unless.
There is an orthographics folder and then there's a renders folder.
Okay. I actually didn't see the renders folder for some reason. I just looked at both of these and I didn't see any renders. So.
Submitted 2 orthographics first. Can I resubmit with the renders?
Yeah, sure. No worries. I'll just look at the Maya file for now. I usually just end up there anyway. Oh my. Oh no. Crap. Ugh. And I broke Maya. Alright. Give me 5 seconds. Maya's totally doing the thing where I can't get to the folder behind it and the entire computer doesn't respond if I... Fantastic. Alright, try this again. Alright. While Maya's coming up, does anyone else have any questions about any like Maya stuff or like any assignment stuff for the final or anything like that? Alright, hey, we have Maya. Cool. Alright, cool. One more time. The lag is real. 255%. That's questionable. All right. What is happening right now? How big is this Maya file? I don't know, it's just like Maya's like really not wanting to load this file right now. I'm also weird. Do you have, I have no idea if this would actually make any difference, but do you happen to have this like on a thumb drive? Do you have this on a thumb drive by chance?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know if it's just like something about this download, but like it seems to be kind of crashing Maya a little bit. Like, the only time I ever expected to take this long to open a file, it was like a very high poly model.
It's just a ring.
Yeah. If you wanna pass me your thumb drive, I can try it from there. For now, I might possibly close and reopen Maya again, because it's being insane. While that thumb drive is wandering up, does anyone else want to look at their project? Hmm?
Hi.
Yes.
EGB.
EGB? EGB? Was that? You said EGB?
HAB.
HAB. Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
I'm still terrible with names.
The
Mhm.
renders don't look smooth. I already mentioned
Yeah.
this
Mhm.
once, but I had a question about the actual model itself.
Okay. Cool. We have now a Maya and a file. All right. So I'm just gonna ignore the renders for now. If that is acceptable. Oh, another water bottle. All right. Cool. Is it? Yeah. Is this just? Can I just like plug that in whenever? And okay. Cool. Yeah, you're welcome to throw it in. All right. So what was your question?
So the water bottle,
Mhm.
the cap has a hole in the top.
Oh yeah, like one of those. I see. Sure, open it in Paint. Dear God. No, I just tried to open a JPEG and it's like, do you want to open it in Paint? Okay, yeah, I see what you mean. Okay, so probably what I would do for that is do this maybe a little more carefully, like with your orthographics, but I'd probably just grab these faces here and just delete them, more or less. And I'm actually gonna turn symmetry on. All right, cool. Or I can just ignore symmetry. So I'll just extrude these edges here. And this is gonna give me like just a little bit more geometry to work with, so I can like get this shape right, so it's not like smashed up against the side of this little bottle here. And then at that point, what I could probably do is actually just do an edit mesh bridge with those edge loops. Why? All right. I'm gonna go to my display, heads up display, and turn on poly count because I still like it for counting edge loops. So apparently I have 32 edges here, and 40, what? It's the same number of edges. All right, I'm gonna try merge and just like see if that happens to fix the whatever problem this is perceiving to be having here. Then I'll try another bridge, okay. All right, if you're feeling aggressive about it, you can just manually append all of these edges together. When the bridge tool doesn't work, I get angry with it. I'm just trying to close this edge. Like normally I would do it with the bridge tool, but it's yelling at me about having different numbers of polygons. I mean, you can literally just go in with the append polygon tool and manually close all of these edges. Just click from like one to the other until all of them are closed. Oh, okay, I see, because there is actually an uneven number of edges there. I feel bad for yelling at the computer now. But it's done now.
How are you able to
Mhm.
use the tool multiple times?
Oh, I'm just pressing G
Oh, okay.
to repeat. Yeah.
I remember just like resetting every time.
Yeah. No, it 100% will just keep resetting itself. But yeah, so then I'll select these and just sort of extrude these again. And if I just scale them in like this, it'll give me the loops on the inside that I need. But yeah, I mean, that's like more or less how I would add that hole. Did that answer your question?
Yeah, thanks.
Sweet. All right, and your thumb drive exists. Cool.
You stick.
Nice.
And it's
I named
mine.
mine Louis.
And then week 7.
Week 7.
And then not final project. It
Ring?
is-
Final ring 2? Or ring
it's
final
either
2?
Ring, it's ring final 2.
Okay. All right, back to the ring. Don't crash Maya. Don't crash Maya. What is this? Really questionable here. Oh god. Why is this being... I might try another version of your ring just to like see what happens.
Crash the whole computer.
No, I mean I can still kind of move my windows. I think it just something about that file doesn't seem to agree with Maya. If you ever want to submit an OBJ, that'll probably fix your issue.
Okay.
If it works on your computer, export it as an OBJ, and
Well,
then
it doesn't open on mine now.
then you're kind of just screwed, and you just need to maybe go back and redo it.
Oh.
Yeah. No, Maya, every once in a while, Maya will just like perpetually corrupt a file. This seems like it might be one of those instances, because anytime I try to put this into Maya, it's
Also render, so I
crashing.
have to redo it.
Yes, because I still want to see your topology. Alright, it's really weird. Okay, I can at least take a look at your renders actually. But before I do that, I'm curious. What if this is not yours. What if I put in ring final? God help me. Alright, yeah, I think this is, wait, I can at least still rotate Maya. Yeah, this is super weird. Or Maya's just lagging and actually not paying attention. Alright. I'd be inclined to say that this file is perhaps corrupted. Because I cannot open this in my computer. Yeah, are you working in Maya 2018? Like okay. Yeah, if you want to resubmit this, just like save your thing as an OBJ and submit that instead of your Maya file.
Okay.
Yeah.
When do I have to resubmit it?
Let me know if your file, if you can open your file just like as soon as you can,
Okay.
like whenever it's convenient. If your file is corrupted, let me know and I'll give you an extension because your file is corrupted and that's not your fault. But yeah, so I can answer your questions, I guess, about this after class.
I gotcha.
Yeah, sorry.
Okay.
All right. Oh, and I will metal ejector flash drive. Alright, sorry about that. Alright, so does anyone else want to look at their projects? Alright, was that a... Okay. I might just do one more once Maya opens back up, and then wander into the actual lesson things of today. Yeah. Alright, I'm gonna randomly grab... I'll grab one of the non-zipped files for Grinzies. Alright, why not? Ooh, screwdriver. Alright, while I'm waiting for this to unzip, I have just like random announcements. So I actually, apparently will be in Florida for class next week, which I actually completely forgot about. So I will be doing tutorials for next week's class, and you do not need to show up. I have a meeting here on Tuesday, which is probably going to end around 10:30. So I'll try to do some office hours since I'll be gone. Tuesday maybe from like 10:30 to like noon 30-ish. So if you need me, I'll be in, I think it's 230D. It's like that little weird adjunct office by Daphne's. If you need me, you can stop by for questions or whatever before I leave. If I am gone, you're welcome to just like shoot me emails about stuff. I'll still have computer access. I will just be physically in a different state. I'll also probably send out another like little poll thing about just seeing if anyone wants like tutorials, specific tutorials for like specific stuff. Because towards the end of the quarter, I tend to like do a little bit more sort of free form, like what are people interested in, what do people find helpful, just like sort of random useful things about Maya instead of like specifically directed stuff, if that makes sense. Alright, but I have, oh god, I have now some stuff, which I think I'm just going to ignore Alright, cool. Alright, so we have a screwdriver here. And I think I'm gonna Lambert this to make my life easier. So okay, yeah. So I mean, there's nothing. Anyone have any thoughts or comments on like the overall shape of this as it exists now? Hint. Okay. So it seems like the overall shape of the handle is like more or less fine. It does actually have like that edge loop on this inside to like prevent this like giant star from pulling, which is nice. Strictly speaking, it should have another one like right in here, and that would just help like define that edge a little bit more. But I mean, to me, the most important one is like this one that's going to prevent all of the tries from pulling. Like if I got rid of that, and also I guess this one, you would see a little bit of pulling around the edges of this object, like ever so slightly. And then I kind of wish there was another edge loop like on the bottom here, doing that same thing. Or even just like grab all those faces and just sort of extrude them down. Even just like something really like stupid and tiny like that. When you smooth it, like that should just help ever so slightly for like that pulling to be less obvious. Although it actually was like pretty not bad compared to how it usually is. The other thing I noticed, like when I look at the back of this, even when I look at this smooth, you can still, if you scroll in, you see like it kind of looks like a low poly object a little bit. And that's just because there's not quite enough edge loops in the back of this to define how to smooth this without that sort of low poly effect on the edges. So you'll notice like I'll just go in here and I'll just like throw in, like this is obviously messing with the curvature of the back, but once I have those edge loops in here, you'll notice there's like a much smoother looking edge. And at that point I could go in and like scale this down so it was maybe a little bit closer to like the original curvature of the object, but you'll see that's like a little bit smoother, hopefully. Anyone have any questions about that? All right. In terms of the actual head of the screwdriver, this stuff is like, honestly, like screwdrivers are like one of my least favorite things to model. But it actually looks like this is pretty good. I don't see any n-gons like floating around in here, and I'm curious, so I'm gonna do that like hack to find your n-gons. So I'll just do select matching polygons and all polygons in the object, or all polygons in the scene for grins, and I see no n-gons, so cool. Excuse me. So the only thing I might change about this end here, and actually, I don't know why I didn't find this giant n-gon here. It's kind of weird, actually. But it'd be nice if this was like a little bit harder, just in case you ever like see it for any reason. So and also not an n-gon. So if I just like grab this, extrude, I'll just scale it down, hit G to extrude again, and then merge to center. And that pretty much both hardens the edge and gets rid of those n-gons. I could also take this edge loop here and shift it down. Why is that not letting me select? That's weird. I'll just grab these verts here and just like shift them down, and that'll harden the edge even more if I needed that. But the other thing, so like, you'll notice like there's edge loops here. When I smooth this, those edge loops like pull down and get like really like kind of scallopy and crazy. Which if there was a texture on this would probably end up causing a little bit of texture pulling. And again, like adding like 2 more edge loops to this model would pretty much eliminate that issue. So I'll just go to, again, my insert edge loop tool, and I'll just throw an edge loop like even right here. So you'll notice like once I smooth it now, that edge loop is still stretching down, but all of these guys up here that were like the crazy sort of scallopy edge, they're staying up closer to the tip of the screwdriver, and they're not like pulling really, really super crazy. And then again, if I wanted to, I could do that kind of on the back here, just to like hold those edge loops in place. It's not, I find that's like more of an issue if you're texturing the object than it is, like smoothing, the effect is fine without these edge loops, but like when you texture it, a lot of times it'll have pulling if you don't throw in those extra little loops there. Kind of like when I did that tin can demo, like there was pulling on the side, then adding that edge loop kind of like solved that. But yeah, so any questions about that? All right then. In that case,